like, damn, slow down. I know you see a queen adjusting her crown. She been knocked down, but she never stayed down. She been living life like it's her playground. And they be like, damn, slow down. They can't catch us, she be moving too fast.
Hey y'all. I am so sorry that I had to reschedule the live. It was supposed to be an hour ago, but I had to get some stuff done, some unexpected stuff, and I still was getting stuff together to go live tonight. So yeah, I'm so sorry. Anyway, you guys, did y'all so let me just start by saying hi. Please, yes, y'all, like on the way in. Hold on, AK, since you're here. Hold on, AK. I'm sorry, I have not made new mods since I first started like going live, y'all. And I was like, I don't even know who my mods are. So I'm be going in and modding some people. But yeah, because I stream through StreamYard, I can't see exactly who is a mod and who's not. So I'm gonna fix that. Okay, boom. So let me know by the show. Somebody put one in the chat if you have if you watched the press conference that the lawyer did, the lawyers for Jacqueline and Trezell did, because when I say it was a mess, and I can play it for you guys if y'all want me to, because it was low-key funny. I'm sorry. Like the woman lawyer, she was speaking Spanish and she I don't think she even knew Spanish. It was so funny. And the only reason why I was tickled was because I actually went like all 4 years of high school. It was mandatory that we became fluent in Spanish. No, I never became fluent in Spanish, but follow me. It was like a requirement. And I was next to people who turned out to be like interpreters, and they would do this. And I've never seen them do this. So it was funny. The people are calling these defense lawyers great value lawyers. They're like, what in the hell? So just to clear things up before I play the video, these are public defense attorneys. So you know that you have a legal right to have counsel. And if you have one, then the courts will, of course, appoint you one free of charge. And a lot of people, of course, don't. Okay, I'll put it back in your hair. A lot of people don't respect public defense attorneys or anything like that. You know, they get a bad rep. And I'm not talking about them in that manner. I'm just saying, from my point of view, it was funny. Their behavior was funny. So it was a 30-minute press conference, but oh my goodness. Trey, I think they went to the same law school as Tasha K's lawyer for sure. For sure. I know, and I meant to share it for y'all because I figured y'all didn't see it, and I was busy yesterday, or I would have played it. But I had I watched it last night, and then I rewatched it today, and my sentiments remain. It was hilarious. The comments were in shambles. Like the fact that they really called these people great value lawyers. They's like, are they nervous? Like, like people, the comments were in shambles. So I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys. And of course, do my commentary in between. Please like the live, y'all.
It's going terrible. All right, we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Tim Hennessy. I'm lead counsel for Mr. Trezell West. Associated counsel with me will be Joshua Fleshman. He's not present at this moment. Here with me also is Alexia Torres-Stalin. She represents Ms. Jacqueline West. And associated counsel for Ms. Jacqueline West will be Ms. Fatima Rodriguez, here present to my left. This will be the only time the defense counsel will be addressing me and making statements about the case until after the trial. We won't be answering any questions here today, we won't be discussing any facts of the case. Our client.
Now, mind you, he's saying all this like this will be the only time that we address the media, when low-key, no one asked y'all to address the media. We could care less to hear from y'all, but this was their version of a clapback. So this is the reason why they came on to talk. So just listen. It's funny.
Clients, we've spoken to them about this. They're behind this. They understand our need to getting our side out. Last week, our clients, Mr. and Mrs. West, were arraigned on an indictment of 5 counts, including second-degree murder, and that came as a result of a grand jury convene. There's been great confusion we've seen about the difference here between a grand jury and a trial jury, and the two of those things could not.
Somebody in the comments was like, child, is he nervous? Why he sound like this? Why he out of breath? Like, is he okay? His voice is shaky as hell. Like, you supposed to be talking with conviction. I need to trust that you're going to get me off this charge. But a lot of people are counting them out because, of course, they are defending people that we don't want to win. Like, so, of course, our criticism is going to be harsh because y'all are defending, of course, innocent until proven guilty, but y'all are defending abusers. Let's just put it like that. So if you're gonna have to walk the walk and talk the talk. Coming up here sounding nervous with a shaky voice, yeah, baby, we gonna eat you alive. Yes, Trey, that's his voice. That's not the video. And I'm not sure who that lady is to the left, his left with the white blouse. That's not the other attorney. The other attorney is going to be the one that is doing the translation. And baby, just watch.
Be more different. First, the standard of proof is lower for a grand jury. They need to only determine probable cause, which is one of the lowest legal standards our system holds. They also do not require a unanimous vote by the jurors. The prosecution also has broad discretion in determining how to proceed and doing so by way of indictment. The grand jury process lacks a crucial and important role of our criminal justice system, and that is the accused and their counsel being present during. There's no opportunity to cross-examine any witnesses, and it is basically ran by the district attorney. This is to the detriment of the accused, as evidence of a speculative nature has a way of integrating itself into this most secretive of all legal proceedings. On the other hand, a trial by jury, they must unanimously agree on the issue of guilt or not guilty. And there you have the highest standard of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt, and it is a proceeding done in open court. The state's comment and reliance on this "we have proved" to a grand jury is mere rhetoric. It's used as an insurance to bolster a lopsided indictment. Comments such as this have no place in an actual court of law, where it is 12 individuals who unanimously decide the outcome of this case based on this highest level of burden of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. Statements that have been used by the Kern County District Attorney in her press conference tend to invoke a tidal wave of emotion towards finding guilt, whether substantiated or not, and this will taint a local jury pool and could deny our clients a chance at a fair trial. It's odd that the office held their press conference, made a series of comments which both mis- and disinformed the public, then the following day came and requested a gag order to stop the defense from having an ability to make similar comments. This action is disingenuous, but may also cause change for a change of venue in the future. This is an election year, and this case is serving as a compass to guide the DA to her path of re-election. However, it is now when the misleads in theater end and the constitutional protections begin. The safeguards of the accused and the fight to preserve those for Trezell and Jacqueline West begin now. And I thank you.
Okay, so there you have it. This is Sir. He clapping back, basically, in which I'm gonna put it like this. of course I'm not rooting for them, but I'm going to be fair and I'm going to explain to y'all why they did what they did. And what they did was right. They wanted to make sure that the media was aware and that the spectators was aware that they too have a stance and they have a right to clear their defendants or their their people of any wrongdoings. But what tried to take place was the district attorney did her press conference. She put out all of these claims, and she was stating like she knew for a fact. And once they put in that gag order, it was going to be the only thing that we remembered was what she said. So the defense team wanted to equally be able to say what they needed to say, and to help sway the people to understand that it's still a trial that has to happen. There's still things that have to take place, and that they are not guilty yet, which of course is right. They are not legally guilty yet. And that, with the defense, not the defense team, the prosecution basically putting out those claims, it kind of taints how the case is going to go, because people are just hearing their side and saying guilty, guilty, guilty. This is already a very public case. This has been a public case. People already did not like Trezell and Jacqueline. And I'm not saying that that's not right. But they did not like them. So with the prosecution saying all these things and them not being able to rebuttal in any way, already makes them feel like they're losing, which is not fair in court. Okay, so in court, the people want justice for the little babies. So of course we're going to be very different versus the jury, and this is crucial to the jury selection, making sure that whoever they pick is aware that they cannot watch media, they cannot talk to the media, they have to be completely out of the loop so they can make a conscious decision for the verdict. So that's basically why they got up here to talk. But as y'all hear throughout this press conference, they did not do any clearing of their clients' names. They're just basically mad at prosecution. And that's why everybody's like, so what y'all get up here for? Because all y'all gonna say is what prosecution did, but y'all are not saying any claims like things like, my clients were loving parents, my clients want nothing more to get their children back, etc., etc., etc. Like, they are not coming off as we are defending that they are innocent and this is how they are. They're just basically saying like, prosecution, you got me effed up, so we getting up here to clear the era. That's basically what they're doing. But he did not talk with convention. He was like fidgety, his voice was shaky, and he kept constantly clearing his throat, which, that reads for nervousness. We can't really trust you. You are not really making us believe what you're saying. So, it just all was wrong. But let me show y'all how the lady was doing the interpretation, y'all. It was funny. Hold on.
If you're an entrepreneur and you're currently...
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos a nuestra conferencia de prensa conjunta. Primeramente, me gustaría comenzar presentando a los abogados. Timothy Hennessy, el abogado principal para...
So this part she was cool in because she had the same script. So she already had it in Spanish. So I'm going to fast forward to when he comes back, or when she starts speaking in English, to talk about the other things when they open up the floor for questions. Because right now she's just literally reading the Spanish version of what he said. And of course it was on paper, so she was a lot better. It wasn't until she had to do it freestyle, and it was a mess.
Forma.
Explain that a little bit further?
Yeah,
exactly. So, just
thank you everyone for being here today.
I know you guys can't talk about facts of the case, but can we ask you questions just about what it is that you said, just for further clarification?
about grand juries in
Yeah,
particular?
exactly. So, just for like the common layperson,
Sure.
can you explain the difference between finding having probable cause in order to have pass an indictment and the beyond a reasonable doubt? Just could you explain that a little bit further?
I mean, generally speaking, yes, sir. So generally speaking, probable cause is the standard kind of being used day to day by law enforcement on whether or not to make an arrest, right?
Okay.
That is is there a probability something here happened? Okay. Beyond a reasonable doubt is like, that probably happened, right? I mean, that, and I don't have my calculus in front of me, but it's the idea that, that it is more probable than not that the guilt of this offense has been proven, right? The question is not should or not this person be arrested, and that's where we're at now. It was there enough for these charges to be brought? But the highest standard beyond a reasonable doubt, that's far off. That's so far from where we're at now. But because we hear jury, we hear grand jury, trial jury, there's this general sense to think, well, they must have proven this. This must have been proven beyond reasonable doubt. And that is not what happened. That is not what a grand jury is. A grand jury is a way to bring charges, much like how we have preliminary hearings all day, every day in the downtown courthouse. That's the same thing to get you in the same place.
Okay.
They're two wildly different things, a grand jury and a trial jury.
Will you have a prelim?
I didn't know if you wanted me to. Did you want me to answer that in Spanish as well?
I
don't know if
Yeah.
Okay. So, la causa probable es el más abajo forma de los estándares. So, por ejemplo, es cuando la policía hay un arrestado una persona, es el más abajo, lo más abajo. Y para las standards de duda de razonable.
Razonable. That took me out. She kept looking up to the ceiling, baby. I felt like I was in school because when I don't know something, and like when we would have our Spanish exams and I didn't know what to say, I'll be like looking up to the ceiling like that was gonna help me with this Spanish. And watching her, it was just so funny. She was like, rest. I'm sorry, but that was so funny to me. Like, she is like, that's why I made my thumbnail. Like, what are you doing, sis? And she's like, I'm sorry, do you want me to say that in Spanish? Like, girl, no, just stop, baby. Please. Please. So if y'all notice, the lady's asking, like, yeah, the lawyer in the back is definitely like, I don't know what she doing. And you did not have to cut me off talking about, do I need to answer this in Spanish? It really reminds me of, do y'all remember that lady that got in trouble for signing up to be the sign language interpreter during a press conference? And she got up there and was signing all incorrectly because she didn't know how to sign. And she got in big trouble, y'all. I think she got jail time for that. But yes, that's what it was giving. Like, she like, listen. So freaking funny. Oh my God. I cannot get over it. But yes, as you hear that, he's just basically keeps reiterating the difference between a grand jury and then the trial. Like, dude, we get it. What, that's not helping us understand how your clients are innocent. Like, you keep trying to break it down to showing, like, basically they're downplaying what exactly the indictment was, basically saying like they didn't need a lot of evidence, they did not need a lot of proof, we didn't get to come there and represent them and refute anything, it was only their side. Which, if you know anything about these type of cases, they do have to have a grand jury look at the evidence, because these are the people that's petitioning for the case to be picked up. Trust me, if the grand jury felt like there was not enough evidence, they would not accept the case. Cases get dropped every day, all day long. If there's not enough information to make a case, then they won't accept it. This is similar to Kendrick Johnson. Remember how Kendrick Johnson's case, when I told you guys, his family was trying to take it to a grand jury, and they told them they did not have enough evidence to support a grand jury trial. This is something similar. So, even though we didn't agree with the Kendrick Johnson ruling, still don't, that is an example of someone who tried to go for the grand jury prosecution and could not win with the evidence that they had, versus the prosecutor for Orrin and Orson, they had a substantial amount of evidence that was accepted, met the requirements, and the grand jury said, yes, this is a case we will accept. Now it's to go for the people. The people need to, hear this and that let them decide. So that's how it works. But they just keep telling us what basically that a grand jury isn't important. And it's actually the quite opposite. Trust me, if this case wasn't a big deal, the case wouldn't see the light of day.
Es más alta. So, por ejemplo, no es probablemente, no es posiblemente, pero es más alta de esos. Okay, más alta de probablemente, más alta de posiblemente.
Any sense of the timeline when you guys hope to move forward with the trial? Or is it still up in the air depending on the information you guys are allotted?
That's difficult considering the stage we're at right now, as far as what we know and need to prepare for. I do know that our position as well as our clients is to be vindicated as soon as possible.
Where do you guys stand on the gag order tomorrow and why?
So I can answer that in English and then I'll go back. So we are going to be joining in the request for the gag order for a number of reasons. We do not want more misinformation to be spread before the jury trial. There has been very, very few number of cases that have had the opportunity to have a change of venue granted. I believe that there was one, not recently, but I believe that it came back on the Robert Mistriel trial, I believe was one of them. And so in order to ensure that our jury pool here isn't tainted, we are going to be joining on that gag order as well. ¿Quiere que yo decir eso en español también? Okay. So, nosotros queremos el orden también porque no hay muchos casos aquí en Kern County donde hay un papel de orden para cambiar el sitio.
Yes, the translator is the lawyer. Yes, I didn't want to tell y'all until she started talking in English. I thought the lady with the white blouse was the other lawyer. No, it's the lady in the green. Oh my gosh, she really sounds just like me. My Spanish is horrible. Like she like Dundee, power, Kern County, Apadity, and then she's like baby. So basically, what she's saying is, even though they first said that they didn't, that the gag order that was placed was to basically silence them. They also too are going to take part in the gag order, and they are low-key wanting a different venue for the trial because they want to make sure the jury pool is not tainted based off of what the prosecution did in that press conference a week ago, which I do not think is a bad move because remember, they have to absolutely fight to the death to get these people off. And that they can't do it with what they got right now because Kern County, all they know is about these boys. Kern County knows everything about these boys, and they cannot take the risk of people on the jury being partial or biased, So I foresee a lot of people stepping down, being, removed from the jury. And like I told you guys from the jump, I do not think that this is going to go to trial in May. It seems like it's going to be pushed back because a lot of this needs to be ironed out. With this small little town and this little stuff, it really does matter because it can make them lose a case, and their job is to win the case. Each party wants to win. But yes, her Spanish is stressing me out. And I'm trying not to laugh at her, but it's so funny because I'm like, if y'all watch press conference where they do either sign or do Spanish, they be like, just it's flowing. No.
So, yo nomás piensa un jurado de Robert Mistriel, excuse me. Entonces, nosotros queremos juntar en pide la corte porque no quiere que personas aquí no tomen mucha información que no es correcto antes del jurado.
And there will be no prelim.
No, there won't be a prelim because that is what the grand jury accomplished. So rather than proceed through prelim, it proceeded by way of grand jury, which is fine. It's an option, but it is to think that it is somehow superior or has proven more or means more, that's inaccurate.
When you guys say change of venue, could you just be a little bit more clear? What do you mean by that?
So if we go back to the trial that I cited earlier, that the incident took place here in Kern County, but the attorneys were able to prove in court that a significant portion of the people in Kern County were aware of the case and essentially argued that the jury pool would have already made up their mind had they decided to stay here. Again, these are not granted often, but it is something that we may be able to do considering the large amount of coverage that this case has garnered.
So basically, it would just be arguing it in a different district type of thing.
Right. Same trial, just in a different county.
Okay.
También para en español. So, en el orden para cambiar el sitio.
I cannot take this Spanish. Like, she should have had somebody else interpret while she focused on being a lawyer. Hey, Kiva, she should have had somebody else because, baby, every time she gets up here to do this Spanish, I'm like, no. She's like, like, you gotta go. And I'm telling you, no one had nothing nice to say about this press conference. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, was it really that bad? And then when I watched it last night, I was like, okay, maybe I'm a little sleepy. So that's why I'm a little giddy. But I watched it again this morning. And even my husband was like, girl, get the Spanish out. I'm like, exactly. Hey, Roxy. So yeah, she ain't that good of an interpreter.
No hay muchos casos aquí que eso es la realidad. Entonces, nosotros estamos diciendo que es posible para cambiar el jurado porque, por ejemplo, hay muchas personas aquí en Kern County que either sabemos o tenemos una opinión de.
Do y'all hear her? Do y'all hear her mixing in English and Spanish? She's like, either. I would have been in trouble. It's giving Spanish high school, and the teacher would have been like, no, go back.
Tenemos una opinión de they went the press conference route for
Hold on, y'all, because it's kind of harder for me to find the timestamps because it's just her on the screen. She's just going to keep talking. So 1 second. I got to go back just a little bit.
And to clarify, are you guys saying that the DA went the grand jury route to more political reasons?
So in viewing the press conference, I believe that she had indicated that they went the press conference route for some reasons that may have dealt with scheduling purposes. Although that can happen, there is also something that counsel can agree to in order to allow the prelim to be continuous. She did state that there were a lot of high-profile cases in which they have chosen to go by way of indictment. Between Mr. Hennessy and our law firm, we were thinking of a couple of our high-profile cases, and those ones have not gone by way of indictment.
What challenges does this sort of present to you guys? You mentioned you guys have had these kinds of high-profile cases, but what sort of barriers are you guys now presented with? I mean, obviously there's the change in venue. Any other challenges that you guys are sort of facing and working through right now?
I would say in comparison to other cases, and I think one of the reasons why I wanted to speak today on behalf of Mr. West is the public's response to a lot of this has made it seem like it's a done deal. Like, why would you take this case? Why would you represent this person? He was found by this jury already. And to us, that's detrimental to the defense. That's like the fundamental purpose of this is innocent until proven guilty. And people are telling me, hey, it's a done deal. We saw it on the news. We heard it. The jury found him guilty. They proved it to a jury already. And to us, that's the most detrimental thing, because this has to be a jury of people ready to sit, listen, do their job, hear the evidence, make a decision. And if the whole community already thinks that's a done deal, no one's going to show up and take this seriously, then we've lost already. And that is the point today, is to make it clear what it is that was done and what still has to be done before you want to convict our clients.
Mm-hmm. Y también cuando leer los comentarios de, por ejemplo, YouTube o de los
What if you hit in the normal way, the normal trial, would you still take the case?
I'm so sorry, I didn't.
So, Chris, they are public defenders. And the question that the man just asked was, if this was a regular trial, would you guys still be taking the case? Because the man is basically saying, like I said in my title, they clapping back. They saying, you know, what y'all did was wrong. Y'all already screwed us in this trial. Y'all making it 10 times harder for us to defend our side, present our side, and really get the story out with the facts, you know, because it's all within reasonable doubt. And he's saying that basically people telling him like, nah, y'all screwed. It's done, which is not true. Which is not true. We can talk about Casey Anthony. That lady was found not guilty. That lady was found not guilty. So, yeah, I can't take her either, or her Spanish. I don't know. She said YouTube.
If they did it the normal way, that if you did a regular trial, like the normal one, would you guys still defend these people?
Yeah. Right. There's still innocent until proven guilty.
No,
and it doesn't matter if that's a grand jury putting charges or a holding order at a prelim. I'd have still taken the case. I just want the ground we're working with now for everyone to understand that we're in the same place had they been held to answer at a preliminary hearing.
Sí, porque es muy raro para hacer este tipo de audiencias. Es raro. It is not. So we are appointed through the Indigent Defense Panel. That is a program that is run through the Kern County Bar Association. And so that is how we have been appointed to the case.
The question was, are you guys pro bono? And she said no. She basically said the fancy words, but it really means she is a public defense attorney and he is as well. And they are working on this joint to cover husband and wife. Now, sometimes some cases you are able to have one lawyer for the husband and wife, but you have to have certain approval for lawyers to work together to cover a married couple. This is, remember I covered the Oxford High School shooting where that little boy shot up the school, but his parents are also in jail for basically allowing this to happen, for endangering these students and everything. They had to get a special circumstance for their lawyers to work together to cover them. So they work separately, but they're covering the same people, basically. The man's covering Trezell and the woman is covering Jacqueline. I feel like they are students too. Like, I just don't feel like I feel like they should have ironed out the kinks before they did this press conference. I understand why they needed to do it, but do I feel like they executed this press conference? Absolutely not. And they look like a joke. And that's really hard when you're trying to come on here and defend your client, but they look absolutely horrible. Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that they are going to be able to present their case and win this? I do think that they're going to be able to move their trial to a different venue, but I don't necessarily, well, I don't want them to win. I'm not even hoping that they win, because these little boys need justice. But you know, this is court for you. You never know. You never know who is going to win, who's going to have the upper hand. This isn't like civil court. You know, this is really criminal, and that is always hard to tell. You can think you know who's going to win, but like I said, Casey Anthony, I still think about that all the time. She really got off. And hey, so what do you guys think? Do you guys see a point in what they did? I know that y'all agree that it was quite ghetto and that it was not professional. I agree. I don't no. I don't think that they I think they underestimated what they needed to do, and maybe they're just a little too green. Maybe they're green lawyers. I don't know. Usually lawyers are taught to be like over cocky, very sure of themselves, because you really have to sell it. So it was weird to see him like clearing his throat, having a shaky voice, you know, fidgeting. And then she just kept looking to the sky as she was talking. Like, girl, you don't even know what you're saying. They might not move it in another location. The defense attorneys in the Ahmaud Arbery case wanted to move the trial because it happened in a small town, but they didn't. Oh, I didn't know that, Christy. I did think it was interesting that they had that trial in that town, but I didn't know that the defense team petitioned to get that moved. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. Exactly. And I know Trezell and Jacqueline in jail just like, but this is the weird thing. I think it's funny that they're getting a public defense attorney, and I'll end it here because this is all that we had to talk about. I'm gonna come back tonight and talk about a different story, but I think it's weird that that they got public defenders when Trezell's brother is, I told y'all, the leader of the NAACP. So he knows a lot of people. He has a lot of connections. Trezell and Jacqueline were foster parents, which means that was their sole income. They probably have money. I would hope that they have money. Why are you guys going the public defender route? You know, if you want to try to win a case, I would foresee that you would have gotten a actual real lawyer. Where's these connections at? You should have already lawyered up a long time ago, especially when the children went quote unquote missing, because you know that they're always going to look at y'all first. So why y'all didn't have this in the bag, it just shows that you guys were probably cocky and really thinking that y'all was going to get away with this, in my opinion. Chrissy said, I don't think the attorneys are green. I just think that they sound like they got the case hours before the press conference. Yeah. And seeing that they are public defenders, we don't know how soon they got this case, because that's true. They can get these cases hours before, minutes before, like, hey, this is who you're representing. And you have to really be on go. It seems like their first case. I don't know, but still, this sounds like my traffic lawyer. I kid you not. Like the way he was looking and talking, he sounded like my traffic lawyer. Like, go in there and get them tickets removed, sir. Go. Like, I wouldn't hire you for what I'm getting charged with. Something don't seem right about that, but it could be that she doesn't want to ask her family for help. No, it's Trezell. Trezell's the man. It's his brother. His brother is the one that was okay. I will. His brother was the one that was like on the internet, you know, saying that he has no connections with this, you know, he has no ties with this. But still, you couldn't help me get a lawyer. No one probably wanted to represent them. It's a bad case morally. I agree, Chrissy, and I know that we need the balance of criminal defense lawyers, and I give my hats off to them, because how do you do it with things like this when it comes to children? You know, like I couldn't do it. Yeah, I will be a defense attorney if it has something to do with, drug charges and all that, especially for, our black men that's in prison for, Mary Jane. Yeah, I would be a freaking defense lawyer to the end. But when it comes to stuff like this, I couldn't do it. Yeah, that's strange that the PDs is giving vibes that nobody wants parts of it. That's why the interviewer asked, one of the people asked, if you were like, if this was just a regular case, would y'all still take it? And the man's like, yeah. Like, no, you wouldn't have. Okay, his brother is like, leave me and my reputation out of your mess. But his brother did, like, months ago, he was trying to, like, I'll give up my own money to find the boys. My brother is a good man. And his mother, remember I told y'all what his mama had that long letter as well, like saying how she's a good woman and, she retired and she's been married. So they have had their own versions of clapping back and defending their son and brother, saying that he's a good man. So it's really weird that you have connections and, your brother's getting a public defender. I know that they have a bad rep. Like I said, public defenders have a bad rep. I'm not saying that they're all bad, because we need them. But for this case, you need to go hard. Right. That's what, when he said, yeah, I'm like, you don't have a choice. But if you did have a choice, you wouldn't have took this case. You wouldn't have took it at all. It's just crazy. It really, that press conference, I mean, let me show y'all the comments real quick, and then I'll get off here, just so y'all can see what people had to say. Somebody said, is this the Walmart of attorneys? He seems so nervous. I don't think anyone is confused on the grand jury indictment. Somebody else said, there's no way I could be a defense attorney. I know everyone deserves a fair trial, but if you take on a case where a person is accused of violently aiming their whole family, babies too, when you're defending this person, you'll reach a point in the trial and in your heart this person is guilty. How could you continue to stand up in court and fight for someone to prove them innocent when you know they're guilty as hell? Well, the thing about it is, with these type of trials, you are not going to do anything besides poke holes in the prosecution story. So if the prosecution story is saying that Trezell and Jacqueline was riding down the street and kicked the boys out the car, the defense team would say, they would basically probe the thing of, how do you prove that? Were there traffic lights? Or they would have a witness in that drives by them and says, no, I actually was next to them at the light and I seen 6 kids in the back seat smiling and dancing to music. All it is giving someone reasonable doubt. They are not necessarily saying that they're innocent. They're just trying to poke holes into what the prosecution story may be. They have to prove that they don't have facts, that there is always a different side to it. That's the best way to put it, in my opinion. Now, I'm just doing it off the top of the dome. I could have a better example, but just think of it like that. They can say that there was nobody that saw them in the car. It was just them two driving down the street because they kicked the boys out. But if the defense team is able to find someone on that same day that can say, no, they was in that car, they was dancing and playing, then boom, there's the reasonable doubt. Someone else says, someone said, oh my God, this press conference is ridiculous and a waste of time. It's not like they are the only people to have ever had a grand jury indictment. Yeah, my daughter is asking me for my phone to be her phone. No, it cannot be your phone, baby. I'm about to get off here. Somebody said, wow, this guy is anxious. I would be too if I had to defend this case. Not sure how anyone can defend this type of case. So, what? Somebody said, we know that we spent 30 minutes listening to the difference between the two juries. Let's all get the real reason we are here, and that's because Sincere and Classic may they rest in peace with no more pain. This is a really sad story. Like, I can't get over it. I really can't. It's sad. Chrissy said, but a lot of the case is under wraps. So it makes me wonder how much the brother actually knows. The prosecutor seems really confident. She does. She sold her job. She made us believe her story. Even if, what if they really don't have this smoking gun that they think they have? She made us believe that they had it. Versus these sets of lawyers that got up here, they made us believe that they didn't know what the hell they was talking about and what they were doing. And that's the reason why we are able to poke, through and say, y'all not convincing us, y'all not making us believe this. And it's really because the prosecutor did really, really good at what she had to present versus them. I think they may have also chosen a public defender to appeal to the people, showing we don't have much, but we wanted to take these kids in, and we did our best. That BS. Oh, I see. Like, we're just doing an honest living. We don't have it all, but we love the boys. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's a really good point. His brother don't want no parts of the situation. Well, baby, that brother is gonna always be attached forever and ever. Every time you look him up, his name is Jamal Watkins, I believe. I always forget it, but every time you look him up, Trezell's name pops up now. So, you guys, I really wanted to come on here quickly, give you guys my rundown of this press conference. I think that they need to go back to the drawing board. I wish them the best of luck in this trial. I will update y'all as soon as I find out if they get a change of venue, but y'all know that the gag order is in full effect. So there is no talks about this case as far as what we will know to expect. So as soon as the trial starts in May, if it starts on that day, we will be talking about it. In the meantime, tonight I am going to be covering a story of a murdered mother and an abducted child, and stay tuned for their story. Their story is very, very, very sad, and it has a lot of information. So I'm just working on getting everything for you guys, and I'll be back tonight. Don't forget to like on your way out and subscribe and join my membership. Bye, y'all.
And thank you. Oh yeah, thank you, Ms. Marcel. Yo, all props to you. And just you keep doing what you're doing. And you got a voice. Keep doing